like, hey, it's out of rules, it never gets out of rules, something's gonna happen.
Seriously, between the cops, the attorney, and the river.
This is the Plainfield Park District special meeting. Today is March 25th, 2014, around 5:06 p.m. Call to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Steines.
Present.
Commissioner Ludeman.
He speaks.
Absent.
Commissioner Newton.
Absent.
Commissioner Solowski.
Absent.
Commissioner Hurtado.
Present.
Mr. President, we do not have a quorum.
All right, at this time, since we don't have a quorum, we have to close the special meeting. Anybody who would like to stick around and talk about some of the issues that we have, we can go ahead and do. All right.
Council praise.
There was some issues that happened, I guess, last week. The special meeting is open. Okay. So the reason of this meeting was to find out exactly what happened. To be honest, I did not know anything about some of the issues that was here involving the PSA in the Park District with the problem with the shed, and some of the equipment was stolen or misplaced. I found out by via phone call by Mr. Because he called me up and asked me about it, and I said, I didn't know anything about it. So that's the reason we're here is trying to find out exactly what happened. Find out exactly the director from the PSA what happened, and we asked the director of the Park District also what happened. So I actually just to now find out exactly what happened. The only information I got is what it was in the paper. So anybody from the PSA would like to address these issues?
Peter, I can talk if it's all right.
All right, go ahead.
Sure. So for those who don't know, I'm Kevin Sherry, Director of Rec for PSA. Been on the board of PSA for 9 years as part of the group. In relation to the shed, we really can't speak too much because it's an ongoing investigation. At the time of incident, we did identify that the locks have been removed, new ones have been put on. We got a hold of Gene, notified him that this happened, and then we proceeded to remove the locks as we agreed upon, and then we moved forward with having our coaches meeting. The reason we were there is we had a coaches meeting to hand out our equipment. So in terms of an investigation, where the police are, they'll have to respond to that. We really can't talk about that. I think it's ongoing. I mean, we're happy that we were able to, we're extremely happy we had the coaches meeting. We were able to get into the equipment. We were able to just kind of drum up enough equipment to get that going. So that's kind of where we are today. The investigation, we'll kind of let them handle it. I mean, we're not focused on that. We're letting them do their job. We're just focused on getting on the field.
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
According to this, it says 15 bags were missing, and actually there were 15 bags. How many bags were in the shed? They're all missing, or?
Nah, 15 is a percentage of the bags are missing. So after our inventory last year, that's just the number that it was 15 to 20 is our range. Yesterday we notified the police report that 2 bags were found in one of the equipment boxes at the Plainfield District Barn. So that was good news, but it still keeps the number right around 15, 18. Based on how many
bags you had in the shed?
We have 86 total teams.
86, and approximately figured about 13 or so were missing.
No, 15 to 18.
15 were missing.
Yeah, so that's good. I mean, so that's all in the police report. It's all in that public information. I mean, we can pull the report and send it over if you guys need it.
Yeah, you can send us a copy of the report.
Sure, I think we can hold that. If
they can request it. They can request it.
Or yeah, if we can't get it, I'm sure you can get it. Sorry.
Okay.
Nice.
Anything else was missing?
From there?
Yeah.
As far as the inventory we completed that night, no. We have not gone back since after locking those when the police were there. We locked up and we have not gone back since. We go back and we check to make sure the locks are still there, but we have not accessed it since that time.
Okay, and you guys,
because of weather.
You guys said there was 2 brand new locks on it?
We replaced with 2 of the PSA locks.
No, you guys went to the shed, trying to open the locks, but it wouldn't open, or?
No, they're external locks. And so we had to cut them off and put new external locks on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anything else? Also, that we're talking about some boxes, field boxes, equipment.
Well, field boxes were the different story. Those are the ones that were removed from each individual park, taken to, Gene had it, I think we had 2 or 3 different locations. Yeah, and then, so we were finally, yesterday afternoon, they were all consolidated on a truck, brought back over to Four Seasons. And we were able to get access to our full inventory yesterday afternoon. So that's good news.
Anything else was missing?
Out of those boxes, no. There were damages from transit, but nothing we're not expecting. Just the normal wear and tear. So everything, we went through the inventory for we couldn't get in one of the boxes because it was like bent, but the other ones were fine. A little water damage, but that's just because of the long winter.
Yeah, also my concern was there were some, they were talking about the allegedly saying that some people from the Plainfield Park District staff might be involved in stealing those bags. Is that?
That is not something that PSA ever is part of saying. So
that's what I just want to make sure that you guys.
That's the police department's job to figure out who did that. You and I are just.
But you guys never said anything to anybody about.
Absolutely, we never had any proof or evidence of that. That's the police department's job.
Yeah, because that was my main concern. When people started accusing other people of stealing, and I think that's.
Now, everybody can speculate, they make their own opinion, their own mind, but our job is to get kids on the field, not to investigate that. So.
Yeah, but like I said again, my concern was when somebody started blaming or accusing Park District staff. That's what I think something that's very seriously, and I don't think it's right.
Completely, you and I are on the same page. We completely agree. And no offense to Alice and anybody else in the room, but some of this may have got sensationalized in the comments and needed, but from a PSA standpoint, we filed a report that somebody got in there, somebody took some of our stuff, and somebody locked it back up. And it's their job to figure out who that somebody is.
Okay, so just for the record, the shed belongs to the Park District, right?
The shed was purchased in 2002 by Plainfield Soccer Association. We paid to have that built, and we put it on the property. And so up until this year, it's been a PSA purchase and maintained building. We've funded all the maintenance, the painting, the rebuilding. There was at one time an agreement for having it on property that's obviously long since passed all of us, your board and our board. But yeah, no, we actually, I think it was 2002, purchased and built that with our funds.
According to the Park District policy, I don't know, do you have a copy of that?
Right here.
So for 13 years we've been functioning.
Yeah, according to.
That's all good.
Yeah, according to the Park District policy, anything that is on Park District property becomes Park District property.
If abandoned, right? So if left vacant, so yeah.
This is something that's been in the books for years. So I just want to make sure, we all understand that,
So just to make sure that everybody here understands, PSA built that, we funded the shed. So in 2002 we passed on our board $2,500 to build that. We built it. Over the past 12 years we've maintained it, we've had access to it, we've never been restricted to go in there up until this time. So this may be a policy. PSA has always been able to maintain this building, so that's how it's been managed. So I agree, we'll go through that, and we'll have our legal team take a look. But yeah, that's.
Yeah, I'm not questioning that, whether you had access or not. I just want to make sure that, I just want to make sure it's in the record that anything.
They were not on record. The meeting ended, right?
Nothing's on record. Nothing's on record. It's not official meeting.
Yeah, the meeting ended, so there's record. This is just.
We're talking about here.
So no, that's great. We'll go through that. Absolutely appreciate going through that. But yeah, that's that. How it was built, how it's been maintained, how it's been managed up until last Tuesday or whenever. And today's, that might be.
It's changed in the last 12 years, I guess. Well, suddenly, I don't understand why, if it's always been that way, regardless of what it says on the paper, why suddenly now are we not allowed access? Or maybe I'm misunderstanding. I'm unclear.
Well, our past practices, like I said, been running amok. So,
For the last 12 years.
yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes, it has. Right.
How did we survive?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that the goal is I think the goal for us, for our board and your board. So hold on, guys. Yeah, I can't with that. Our goal between the both of us is to figure out what we need to do with that, right? So I mean, if we purchase and pay for it, if the Park District wants to utilize that going forward for theirs, We just need to come up with an agreement on how we're gonna transition that or what the process is gonna be. That would be more for maybe Matt and our group to go through, or I don't know how we do that. That's more for the business end of the legal end, but yeah, no, we'll go through that.
Well, I got a question for you. For the director, Mr. Ayers, where's his whereabouts?
Mr. Ayers is the president.
Yes, how come he's not there standing up there and speaking?
Because this is a rec-related incident?
I'm sorry?
Recreation.
Well, I'd like to hear from, straight from the horse's mouth in regards to the comments made in the newspaper and see if he, clarify the matters. And,
Pete, it's not a meeting, you can ask him.
I'm just wondering, if he has enough,
He's right there, Peter. He's right there.
Well, at the same
Ask
time-
him.
Well,
This is not an official meeting. Ask him.
Well, relax. Well, the thing is, the point is, do you back this information that you made, the statement in the paper?
Thank you for your comment.
Okay, very good. So no comment. Thank you.
I've got another question. There seem to be 40 sets of goals missing from the three parks. Like East Fields, Renwick, as well as Van Horn.
Isaac, can you come in? I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
There seems to be 40 sets of soccer goals missing from Renwick Park, Van Horn, and Legends Fields. Does anybody know the whereabouts of those?
Yeah, I do. Gene, I'm the interim director. What we used to do for several years, we would take the goals at the end of the season, we would drag them into the tree line and chain them for safety's sake. This year, we just put them in the building. We have Klaus Stevens now, which is close to Van Horn. It's a good location. Those goals, probably half of them are at Klaus Stevens in the pole building, and the other half are probably up at Northtown Equestrian Center.
Okay.
So they're there. They're just.
Do you know when that we put that in?
Well, that's up to the weather. It's ASAP. It's easier to put the goals up after you paint the field.
Right.
So as soon as we get the fields painted, we'll bring the goals up. They're all there,
Okay, thank you.
as far as I know.
All right. I don't have any more questions.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
The locks? Who changed them? Do you guys, anybody know, Gene? Do we have any idea who changed the locks? I mean, well,
I don't know.
Not saying that I won't, but at the moment, I honestly don't.
okay.
That's all I can really say about it. It's an ongoing investigation with everybody, including the people that work for me. So,
Just make everybody aware.
none of us are done investigating this.
Okay. But it's, Peter, just real quick, Peter, it's your position though that shed belongs to the Park District?
Well,
According to your,
the policy, and that's
You
something,
too, Pete?
yeah, that's
Okay.
something that's been in place for years. It's nothing that we just changed.
so in a hypothetical situation, and I'm just making a hypothetical, somebody at the Park District could have said, if we go by the rules, that's actually our shed, so we have the right to put our lock on it, correct?
I would assume so.
I mean, hypothetically.
Yes, I would assume so, yes, and I think I would assume the park district should have filed the police report, not the PSA, because technically it's owned by the park district, isn't it?
So are you saying that equipment inside the shed is the Park District's equipment then?
No, the shed itself.
So then why would the Park District file a
It's
report on equipment that's not the Park District?
property.
Not one that equipment isn't the Park District property?
So if my car gets beat up in the parking lot, is the Park District filing the police report if my car gets
No.
dinged? Well, and you don't own that? Because it's on the Park District property?
It was,
I mean, but hypothetically, all I'm getting at is, I think there's good sound reason, especially since that's been pulled, that somebody, I don't know who, decided on their own, I don't think it was taken from the board, but decided on their own that they were gonna change the locks because we, quote unquote, meaning the Park District, own the shed. I don't think it takes Perry Mason detective work to figure that out.
Well, that's
Now-
a hypothetical thing. Yeah.
I love to talk, well, that's what we're doing, so
Right.
is that what occurred?
I don't know if that occurred or not. The only thing that I know is,
But usually, like if somebody was gonna go steal those bags, right?
well,
They wouldn't break the locks and then and then put new locks on.
But you also look at the matters of, maybe it was misplaced, or somebody went in there and took them. And
Oh, I got a feeling they've been misplaced.
Okay,
I think we'll find them.
okay.
I really do. I mean, I think they've been misplaced,
We might find it tomorrow morning.
but I wonder, I don't know, as a citizen, I'm just sitting here thinking like, okay, you've known this is in place, you're claiming ownership now, these folks built it, they bought it, they maintained it, you may be technically right, and you'll have to have Matt get with there, but I think there's pretty good feeling in this room that somebody at the Park District probably changed that lock.
Well, like I said,
Again, can I just briefly, we're not gonna make any comments about specific allegations that go on. This is an ongoing investigation. It's inappropriate for us to even.
Well, we shouldn't even have this meeting, Matt, as you well know.
Understood. But again, we're not gonna.
But since we're here.
But we're not gonna comment on any specific allegations. You wanna talk about policy and field use stuff, that's fine. But again, as far as specific allegations go and an investigation that's going on with the police department, the district is of course going to cooperate with the police department any way it can. We want to find out just as much as everybody else knows what happened. Okay? But as far as addressing specific allegations, we're not going to comment.
Also, well, like I said, you guys are all aware, like I said, a lot of park districts have been being hit in regards to being hit by vandalism and, theft. So, yeah, be aware, so.
Well, we appreciate that the vandals relocked their shed.
Well, the thing is, well, it's very funny, but the thing is, it's your equipment that got disappeared, so, how that locks got on board, maybe you guys put them on there, who knows?
Why would they do that though, Pete?
Why you tell me?
I don't know.
No, you're not, I'm being hypothetical.
Well, no, this is the real reason. Why in the world would they do that?
Because everyone's so happy with the Camel, like I said, the board members here, and so we're.
So it was like a coup d'etat?
Could be, think about it.
Well, who's on the grassy knoll?
You tell me. We got the answer, come on.
All right, I don't have the answer, Pete. I don't.
Peter, wouldn't you also say the agreement says that the use of the shed is PSA's? The ownership might be the Park District,
Right.
but the use is the PSA's.
Right.
The Park District doesn't have any right to go into that shed.
I know that.
Yeah, well,
No, I just
your
find out this-
statement comes
No.
off, A, as adversarial, and B, there's also, I think everyone in this room knows that the Park District has their own soccer program that they want to see succeed. So there's questions from the public about why you would say a statement like that. Let me push this in your face that we own it. Rather than, hey, we want to see PSA succeed because they're a great community group that serves thousands of kids. How can we help you?
Right. The statement that I made, is according to what was written in the paper. The paper said that the PSA owns the shed. I just want to clarify that the PSA does not own the shed. Okay. That's my clarification.
Oh, yeah, but they still built the shed.
I just found out this about 2 days ago. I didn't know that this policy is system that anything that is, is less than the Park District belongs to the Park District.
Okay. But how can we...
My point was, the paper says the PSA owns the shed, and I'm trying to say this, clarify this, that's, according to this policy, that's not
Okay,
the shed.
I think you did a good job.
I didn't question about the usage and access to the shed.
Okay,
Thank
so how do we move forward so that PSA feels welcome on Park District property?
Well,
that
that's
they
why-
get their field scheduled the way they should, that they don't feel concerned that things are going to get stolen. How can we move this forward in a good direction?
That's the discussion we're having right now.
I don't hear that happening yet.
We just started the discussion. I started asking questions about what's being done. But I didn't know anything about this issue until I got a phone call. And I said, no, I don't have any idea what's going on. And that's what I was trying to find out. The only thing I got is whatever was in the paper.
Peter, did you say a minute ago that the Park District should have filed a report? Or should have cut the law? I don't remember what you said.
No, I said...
File a report?
They should have filed a report. That's what I'm thinking.
But I'm just saying, but PSA, before they did anything, reached out to staff, correct?
Yes.
So PSA did nothing wrong.
Guess not.
I didn't say anything.
No, I'm just saying, you're saying that, maybe I'm just jumping.
No, I didn't say anything that PSA did anything wrong. The only thing I said is, technically, I would assume, because I'm not a lawyer, he's a lawyer, that the shed, since the shed is owned by the Park District, the park should have filed a report.
But they weren't there to,
Right.
so,
But yes.
gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
What's happening with the fields that our kids have played on for years? Are we gonna be able to use those fields this year?
I don't know that we can take the operation.
We've, without giving a lot of history, I feel that the answer is yes. We've been working with PSA to get them the field space that they need. I'm hopeful that they'll get everything that they want. More than hopeful, I can just see it happen.
I mean, why would this year be different than any of the other years? I mean, we have kids that played for years. I mean, you guys are punishing the children.
Well, no, it's really not gonna change. However, like I said, the arguments and so that keep on going on, and it doesn't help matters in regards to, you know, bad news for the park district. It just hurts the park district itself. I'm just saying is that, you know.
And I'm just saying, you're hurting the kids.
No, we're
You're
not.
hurting the kids. You are hurting the kids. You are hurting the kids. You are. You are.
And if you would leave the park board, we could move forward.
Well,
It's time.
I have
It's
a question.
time for both
I have
of
a
you.
question.
okay, yeah.
For 32 years, PSA has been in Plainfield. Now, as long as I've been in Plainfield since 1998 and been a part of PSA up until 2008, 2009, okay? At what point, why is it this year they're not at Vanderhorn Woods? Why is it that the Park District is allowing an outside organization from outside the Park District to use that facility all day on a Sunday? Now, in all past prior usage agreements between not just PSA, but all youth sports groups when there was an athletic advisory council, we had to meet a minimum of 90% residency within our program, so we cannot use the fields. Why? Hold on, I'm not finished. On top of that, at what point does this board feel that PSA is not an asset to the Park District? If you haven't noticed, and I don't know a lot of you, I don't know Hurtado, I don't know you, Mr. Steines, but anytime the Park District would need items, equipment, financially wasn't able to afford it, who would they go to? They would go to the youth sports groups. You need speed bumps at Renwick Park, PSA paid for them. You need defibrillators at some of the various parks. We're there, we paid for those. Lighted fields, we paid for those. Lighted fields at Four Seasons, PJC paid for those. Parking lot at Four Seasons, PJC paid for a majority of that cost as well to have a paid parking lot. So at what point, it seems like you're trying to sever ties or really push aside the youth athletic groups, not just PSA, but the rest of the ones that have really built the Park District, especially from a youth sports level, aside to start your own soccer program, okay? To start whatever other programs. And I'm not knocking the Park District for trying to start their own program, but when something's been successful, why try to go ahead and attack that rather than support that program and push them forward so they can even do better, rather than make a competition and push them aside? Can you explain that? Because it sounds like to me, from what I'm reading through the minutes over the last year and a half, you're spending a lot of money to start a youth soccer program. $40,000 you guys put aside on a budget. On top of that, doesn't include the guy that you hired to run the program and whatever athletic events that he's running or organizations he's running now, which I think, based on his pay scale, is running almost $60,000 a year for a salary. I'd like to know that, because these organizations are all parent-run, non-for-profit organizations. That means we give up our time. I can tell you that when I was in charge of PSA as president, 80+ hours a week on my own time. When Michelle Kelly was on this board, she would tell you I would be at every meeting not getting paid because I was working with the Park District. That board worked with the youth sports groups. This board, from what I've seen between the newspapers and the meeting minutes, this board has done nothing but to do everything they can to stand in the way of all the youth sports groups. And you guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
That smirk's not good.
No, I think he's right, you know.
Yeah.
He's right. Trying to work together. However,
Work together.
we never try to fight against the PSA. If the PSA would have come to the board and says, let's work together, we would have worked together.
32 years of working together, though, Pete. I mean, they've been working together for 32 years.
Okay.
You, Peter.
When it comes down to, okay, you got 30 some odd years. Okay, you got a powerhouse. Okay, but the thing is, there's also other groups that like to use these parks too. So the thing is,
Outside of Plainfield.
Plainfield?
They're not residents.
And they Plainfield residents.
it's open to anybody.
No.
No.
I'm a taxpayer here. I'm a taxpayer. Well, then you can't do that.
You cannot stop anybody from using a public park. Regardless if you're vaccinated or not.
You can't schedule events, you can't.
But Pete,
You can't schedule
Pete,
events.
just on principle though, wouldn't you agree, because I'm
Well,
gonna
you know,
help
the thing is,
you,
you
you would
gotta
agree
help,
that
you
you'd
know,
rather
people,
have,
enjoy
you'd rather have
parks.
the kids of Plainfield enjoy these parks
Which
than
we're
say the
not
kids of
stopping.
Lamont.
Why are we stopping this?
We don't have a field park.
Can you tell me that my daughter's gonna be playing Sundays with the trail program?
You ask your director that.
I'm asking you because you decided that if it's already rented out to an out of town team,
Okay, well, if the field conditions are acceptable, I guess you guys be playing.
Every
every Sunday,
I'm sorry?
every Sunday when we're slated to with our league.
Gene?
It'd be up to Gene in regards to
Can you answer
scheduling
that?
those spots. And like I said, they're open to anybody and everybody.
Can you tell me who purchased the soccer goals that have been put into storage at this point?
I'm sorry?
The soccer goals that have been put into storage, who purchased those? Do those belong to the Park District?
What's the point?
My understanding is 95% of those goals were purchased by PSA. Do you guys own that because it was on Park District property? 100% of the frames were purchased by PSA.
Actually, I'll correct you. All the soccer goals were purchased by PSA except for one set in Northwest Community. We paid for the other set because one set was paid through part of the OSLOG grant to build that park. Okay, and let me add one more thing now that I'm thinking about it. This park district wouldn't have the open space that it has if it wasn't for the big push of the youth athletic groups, PSA, PAC, PJC. 99, when the open space referendum came around. The only reason that thing got passed is because there was a big push for it. I'd like to know, you want to start a youth soccer program? For the last 15 years, what have you guys done to develop Bridge Road Complex? It's supposed to be a baseball, softball facility. The land's been sitting. I'd like to know what you've done about that.
Oh, we've been here 8 months, so what do you expect me to do?
Well, maybe you should do a little bit better research before you decide to run for a board you don't know much about.
Yeah.
Can Gene answer the other question about the field uses and who's using them? Maybe it'll make everyone feel
Yeah, I
better.
think I'd like to. Maybe it'll make you feel better. I'm one of the old timers here. I've grown up here at the district with PSA, PAC, PJC, all of this. Truthfully, without trying to hide anything or just to come out, I think it takes 3 board members to fire me, so I'll just speak. And that's not going to happen. Our past director gave instruction to the sports department to develop a soccer program, and don't let anything get in his way. And that's what this fellow did.
Greg Bott?
No.
Garrett Peck.
Oh, I forgot about him. Sorry. I haven't been reading the minutes, I'm sorry.
What happened was, this guy went out and just went crazy, developing his own program, bringing extra people in, setting up tournaments, bringing in outsiders, running the fields, okay? Then Garrett left. Garrett left.
No, I do remember that.
And I took over his position. Okay? It took me a while to get a feel for things and settle into things. But then I had people coming to me saying, "Gene, what about PSA? What's going on with PSA? What's up with that?" So I'd say, and I think Kathy Ayers will at least back me up here, for a couple of months now, at least a month, we have been struggling to get PSA to get back on track. I think we all learned a bad lesson this year. Something really bad happened here. I'm trying to fix it. I think we're going to be able to fix it. I've already instructed our sports department to see if he can, I believe Saturdays is okay. Saturdays is fine. Our issue right now is Sunday. And I went as far as to tell